So you got some shit cooking. Let's start with
Cooking,
you.
the chef. Oh yeah, it's all happening. Making up something good. What am I doing? I just had a Zoom meeting for a indie movie. Um, that's like I got the audition through a friend of a no, a family friend who actually got me the audition for that Netflix show too. Pretty smart. Um, it's crazy, man. More connections than most, not as much as some. And this one is a movie starring Nina Dobrev, who's a huge actress.
Totally. What was she? That name sounds
I
really
think
familiar.
she's like married to Shaun White and stuff. I think she was in Gossip Girl or
That
something.
helps.
But
100%.
it's it's a cool role to be this guy that she kind of meets in the end. And smaller role, but whatever. And
Degrassi.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No.
Oh, she was in Degrassi?
Yes,
I did not know that. That was a long time ago. Drake was in Degrassi.
he was.
Yeah, damn straight he was. Anyway,
Oh,
did that. Oh, started a new acting class.
yeah. How's that going? That was
Yeah.
the second. That was the second one you found, right?
So I audited the one. I wanted to try Tanner's, but it's full. Um, and then this was one that, funny enough, Tanner's ex-girlfriend, who's great, Emily, she recommended. She's in it. And so it's called Warner Laughlin. Uh, I've been like sick, so I didn't go the first week I was supposed to, and I just went this past week, and it's cool. It it's I think the tools from it will really help me long term.
Did you
Yeah.
watch like group scenes or did you do like exercises? What was the whole format of the class?
Format of the class is everyone just does scenes. You get like 1 week to prepare it. You're not supposed to rehearse necessarily. Um, there's like 6 people in the class. Each person has a partner, and you come in and you put it up, the scene from a TV show or movie or whatever, play. Then you get feedback and you do it again, which in a sense is similar to that other good acting class I was in forever, John Rosenfeld Studios. The difference is this one, um, as far as like the approach, they want you to be able to bring in this approach that's very specific. It's very they want you to basically do like a very specific backstory for the character that you're working on.
Hmm.
And how you find the backstory is you like analyze the scene, you find patterns in the scene, you see where the character's coming from. It's very analytical-ish, which I think actually I'm in a good place for now that I've gotten past so much instinctive stuff. And it's like breaking down the scene, recognizing what influenced the character, and then actually they want you to have like a moment rather than going like into your personal life and saying like, "Oh, how can I relate to the character? What was this personal story that struck me or something?" It's going back into the character's circumstances, finding where they came from when they were a little kid, and having moments throughout their life where you're like trying to act the place of the character and actually like act out through their life
Yeah.
what
Are
got them.
you writing these moments and then like acting them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
But actually with the moments, they call them like they have a term for it. And they want you a lot of times to just start kind of in your head, then voice it out loud and describe like what you see and go through it. And it's very so which I do like. It's like really get imaginative. It's good from like it's basically writing, you're writing from your own head. Um, Getting into it and then they want you before you do the scene to have like a strong moment before what just happened before the scene, like literally lead up to the scene. There's no small parts. It's a living three-dimensional character.
Right.
And then kind of have something in your head that the character would be thinking when you go into the scene. Anyway, long story. But that's that. And then after you do the first take, she'll give you certain notes and go over your backstory together in the little just theme that you can go into the scene with, and she'll ask you to try something different and come up with something with you. that might infuse the scene with a different color or something.
Right.
So that that differs a lot from what I'm used to, really elaborate backstory, but I think that will help my overall work to get like really, really passionate about the character.
And you're still talking about circumstance and it's about the character. And so it's not
Yeah.
like any like bullshit.
It's more in depth. No, it's no bullshit. It's more, it's from like a writing standpoint. It's from a
Yeah.
very creative standpoint. But it's definitely in the circumstances. The only thing is, she did point out something good, which is just like don't get too precious about any of it. If you're new to this stuff and you have an audition or something, it's not like you have to drop what you were doing and just commit to it. Like at the end of the day, we want it to all play. Like we want the scene to just come off good, even if it's easy.
Right.
Path of least resistance, which is important for me.
Right.
Um, yeah.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you found a class. It's been a while.
It's been like 5 years since the pandemic.
How many people in the class?
Small, it's like six. But it's a school, so there's a lot of different classes.
Where's it based?
I think it's a new place at the moment because there's just in someone's guest house in Studio City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but good location.
Cool, man. And this teacher, have they like written a book or like how do they establish themselves? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
I
you
think
read the book?
I did. I kind of glazed through it, but um, it yeah, the book came way later. But I mean, it's funny, man. The first week you focus on all this like technique stuff to enhance the scene, but at the end of the day, all four scenes that went up, people were forgetting their lines in little moments. And it was a little clunky, the blocking and everything. I think that part of that is because people didn't rehearse and people didn't spend enough time on the another aspect that's important for scenes, which is like just working out the scene in the moment and getting the technical stuff down so that it like
But
so that
that's like a directing thing, right? Do you have to self-direct pretty much?
here no, yeah, I mean, I will say like before we got up in front of everyone, like I said, okay, I with a scene partner, I'm like, there's a few different key aspects of this scene, like blocking things. Like the parents just left, they're over to the left. Let's so that you bring this thing to life. Let's like make it very clear. It's like
Right.
they're there. I think she had a moment where she had to like throw stuff at me and like kind of like hit me and stuff. I'm like, let's work that out at the top. Let's do that. So like there's like little stuff that do benefit literally from rehearsal and just making sure that the technical back and forths work. And then you can get into like the trying to like act in real time and have just the situation unfold.
Right. Right. But people wanted to get to that part faster, right?
That's how it came off.
It makes
Getting
sense.
the
That's the most fun of acting, right?
it
Like
is
that's the best part.
getting into the story.
Just like doing stuff off the cuff. Like my favorite part was I would like learn the lines or whatever and the blocking. And then once you know all that shit, you're freed up to kind of just be there in the moment and really act. And
Yeah. And then you go through it and like stuff goes out the window pretty quickly that you wanted the scene to feel like and everything.
mm,
Um, yeah, for me, I get like a good idea of the scene and like what it's about and the colors it should be infused with and the moments. Acting and movies, everything, stories are all about moments. Like what complexities were people expressing at that time or feeling or whatever. And like so you want that stuff to all work out. It's kind of tough. Yeah. On the other hand, that other good acting class I was in would do like you rehearse, but then you come in. It doesn't matter who your scene partner is. Everyone does the scene. You just go through it. And then you go through with the teacher what that scene's about because everyone does the same scene. You really talk it through, understand what the scene's about, what's going down in it. And then you do it again, but it's stop and go. I do like the stop and go aspect. Sometimes if you just strut right through the scene and it's off.
Wait, so she'll say stop and then adjust and then go.
Yeah, it'll be like, hey, that was kind of off. Why don't you try? And it's very like a nice tool they would use as thoughts. So they would say like, try before you before you tell her that she's a bitch. Try the thought, like literally thinking to yourself, you're so funny. And then that'll infuse like how you deliver the line. You'll be like, you're so funny. You're a bitch. Like that's that and I did like that.
I Is she
And
mostly giving you the thoughts of the character as you're saying lines? Is that most of her direction?
it depends, but yeah, a lot of times it'll be that. But it might be like a blocking thing. Like I remember there's a time where like you pointed out he's like Decker on that scene was the only person who really brought clarity and humor to that stage direction.
Mm,
Everyone glossed over that stage direction, but there was actually the character was getting hit by something and like freaking out, and no one really gave it the weight it needed.
right.
And for the
It's
stop and go,
interesting because this stop and go thing was helpful.
it was helpful because to work specific moments,
Yeah,
and it took the pressure off just getting through the scene.
right, right. Also, what's cool about that is like actors can really only focus. I mean, I have one guy who like you've met him, Donald, he did that short with you, who like and I mostly say this because I've had to give him the most amount of direction because he does a lot of creature work and intricate, like technical type stuff. He's someone that I can give him like 12 directions at once. And then the next take, he hits every single one of those, which is like crazy. But for the most part, most actors can only remember like two, three things because obviously
Yeah.
they have other things they have to do. So I usually only give like two or three adjustments after every time, but I usually have them run the full thing. So for there could be these micro things that I would have preferred could have been more natural or realistic or whatever, but I'm not giving them to them because it's not as important as those other two or three that I need them to focus on. So I'm usually picking and choosing like, well, like, I'd rather have seven things, but let me pick these three because that's all they can remember for the next take.
Dude, that's why David Fincher does 100 takes.
Yeah, because he needs it like,
He needs it, yeah, to a 12 out of 10. And
yeah.
And I think that's the possibility of it. Yeah, I don't know.
I like that. At the same time, though, with the Fincher stuff, and I fucking love Fincher, but he must just have like he's got one way probably that it works, and that's all it is. For me, it's like
No, 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 no. I mean, yeah, he's very intentional, but he wants to try the gambit.
to find what he can find, like in the moment.
Yeah, these are like complex, deep, deep, deep stories, like conveying so many different things. Like, yeah, he
Yeah.
wants to mine whatever they can. So much rehearsal goes through it too. So much meeting with the writer and everything. Like they're just, and still some of those movies end up not being that great necessarily.
I like
But
that we brought up The Game last time. One of my all-time favorites.
dude, me too. That, oh my gosh. Talk about complexities.
I'll watch that like once a year at least.
That's awesome. I need to revisit it.
It'll hold up.
Oh yeah.
Cool, bro. Yeah, I like the stop and go thing. What's your teacher's book called?
Um,
Or what's her name?
I think it's literally Werner Laughlin method. The Werner Laughlin method. All these
I
teachers,
wonder I wonder how many acting books there are out there, you know?
so many with corny titles. Wait, what was the one someone was just telling me? Oh yeah. I think one of my new roommates, we were talking about Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Jason Alexander comes up with an acting book, and Larry
Yeah.
David holds it up, and it's like the art of not acting.
And Seinfeld's like, so is it acting? Is it not acting?
Yes, you remember it.
He's like making fun of how big it is. It's like this.
Heidi, yeah.
And
Oh gosh.
he's like, that was a year of my life.
It was the year of my life. Nothing. Oh man. That's
Dude.
good.
But this book looks pretty popular.
Yeah.
I
A lot of big actors work with her. What?
the one acting book that I read was the Larry Moss one, the DiCaprio teacher.
Oh,
You know that guy, right?
dude, I went to one of his classes. It was an abomination.
Yeah, you told me that. Remind me again. It's just because you like sat there or whatever. What was it like?
You pay like $600.
You beat bro for
I
like
think I think I paid 100 just to sit in the crowd. You go to like an amphitheater. Hello, everyone out there. Who's ready to do some acting? Basically. And the guy's, he could be the best person in the world, who knows? But for the sake of this, just a guru that like worships himself, has a big old scarf he's wearing. And then he goes through each scene for like 15 minutes, same type of thing. And he does his best of just analyzing the performances,
Mhm.
but there's nothing to it, man. He doesn't. He's one of those teachers like Ivana Chubbuck is another huge one too, where like all I saw with them was miscommunications with them teaching and the actor up there. They don't really because they're not getting into the story of the scene and the material. They're getting more into like, what was it that you do in life where you felt like the character? And like you're sitting there like watching the clock tick, 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 tick. How much time are they gonna get for spending this $600? What are they gonna do? I hope it was a good take because they're not getting another one.
Fuck,
It's
man.
just the setup of the class is bullshit. A good class is like a good coach in anything. They
Yep.
inspire you, they
Yep.
size you up, they know how to reach you, communicate with you, and make it so that you enhance the material and do a performance that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do.
There is this preying on actors that's like a huge, I mean, there's so much money that people can get out of it, where it's just they're preying off of the fact that, and this is the hardest thing to swallow, is that it is like one of the most competitive fucking things in the world. And
Yeah.
just the fact that there are certain things like qualifiers, like the fact that Larry Moss
Right.
was DiCaprio's teacher, that
Right.
then you're like, oh, well, if I book this $600 session and I'm paying, and when you pay for something, you feel like you're going to get quality out of it. And then all of a sudden, oh, now like maybe I'll be the next DiCaprio. That's
Totally.
that's the reason why he's making so much money. And it's a shame because a lot of DiCaprio's success was just the fact that Joaquin Phoenix's brother River died, who was going to get the role of Titanic and all these other things that he was lining up with Leo for. And if he was still alive, Leo might not be Leo.
I actually haven't heard that, surprisingly. That makes sense. River Phoenix would have been sick in Titanic.
100%.
They
Bro,
have a similar look and vibe. Yeah.
completely similar. They were always in the same rooms. They were always doing the same thing. And like, I think Tarantino even brought that up. Like when they were doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he said something like, and just the chances of you or Brad Pitt becoming who you became is just such like a
Yeah.
crapshoot. And it's like there are things that you should be doing to improve your craft, and there are things that you are in control of how many times you submit, and all those things you should be doing. But there is a huge part of this industry here that's so fucked because it's
Scarcity
predicated on,
mindset
yeah, scarcity mindset. They
of
know
like,
that.
hey, it's tough out there. Come to me. I'll make you.
And I'll snap
Hey,
my fingers.
yeah.
I even see it
No.
with, I mean, on my end, it's way less in the acting shit, but it's like, if I get it's like there's no magic bullet. It's like just the fact that I'm associated with this person who's talking to me from this certain company
Oh yeah.
does
Yeah.
horror films or whatever. It's like it doesn't mean that I'm gonna have this amazing career. It's like it sucks. But I think actors should just be aware of that, of like, it's really tough. Just don't fall for this shit that it's like this certain qualifier that then like suddenly there will be this magic bullet. There's no magic bullet. You got to work hard, but also there's that element of luck that's like equally as important, you know?
Magic bullet. I don't know if I've ever quite heard that phrase.
Magic bullet is like, or like magic needle, where basically like,
Magic cyanide tablet. Just end it all.
yeah, that works too. That works.
What
Uh,
did you say?
it's basically means like, you snap your fingers, and just because you do this one thing, then like all your
Yeah.
problems are taken care of.
Oh yeah. Magic
You know,
wand for that one.
Yeah. Right. I read the DiCaprio Larry Moss book because of DiCaprio. That's why I read that book. I hate reading. That's the only reason why I read that acting book. You know what I mean? Because of that.
Maybe the guy was able to jot down some valuable information. I mean, I assume he was.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, yeah, that's so. But this acting class feels beneficial.
Good. Good.
What's been going on in your neck of the woods?
I'm setting up for features. My one is going in July 16th is the start date. We're shooting Wednesdays through Sundays, and that'll take us to August 10th. And then after that, I'm looking at
LA.
yeah, that'll be in LA. And
Wow.
then after that, I'm looking at shooting in different parts of the country and tax incentives and all that kind of stuff. So,
And the one in LA, that's the one with Bonnie Clyde.
yes, exactly.
Uh,
But yeah,
there,
dude, that one's coming, and it's me thinking about uh I'm basically want to present the most attractive package to investors because film inherently is like kind of a gamble because you never really know like how it's going to turn out. So I'm figuring out different ways to make that package more attractive for investors, moving forward. I want to make it as sustainable as I can.
what are some ways that is attractive
I'm
for
still trying to figure that out. Part of it has to do with I mean, one of the easiest things is like look at where you're shooting. LA is one of the worst places, which is like crazy because the business is here, but
yeah,
like it's
moving them?
better to shoot in other places. I'm thinking of maybe can I do like a slate of films as one offering? Like how can I hedge the bet so it's a better there's a better chance of making a good ROI at the end of it.
Yeah. No, I love that.
But you're thinking about all that stuff too, even with Valiant Mentality, like
Yeah, yeah.
business plans and investors talking to investors. Have you brought it to any investors yet, or are you still trying to like hone it in the offering?
Not uh trying to finish the business plan, which it's taken a while. And I have brought it up to a few rich people, I will say. And no one's exactly jumped to say like they'll invest.
Which stings because I had the same experience, but what's cool is thinking about what makes it like a little less painful is you can think about like, well, why didn't they go for it? Like, how can I make this thing like a better thing? And the cool thing is, man, the door is never completely closed. So like if you have a different spin on it or a different way of looking at it, you can approach them differently with like, well, like this is what it was before. Now here's why it's way stronger. What do you think? You know?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had some of those where like they might have passed for the first one, but on the second one they're open and receptive to it. It's
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I it's not like I directly asked these people either. I just kind
just
of
kind of
brought it
like
up.
testing the waters, feelers.
Or yeah, honestly, like if they had any recommendations on what to do,
Right.
let me hear that. Or like, so it's all good. Do you mind if I answer one text real quick?
Bro, we're on our last minute, so we can call
Oh,
it.
no way.
Answering a text mid-pod, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Now I've heard of everything.
Must be important
Um,
text.
Pickleball this afternoon. Uh,
Always good seeing you, bro. We'll do it
oh,
again.
it's great to see you too, my bro. I'm so tired for some reason. All right, peace.
Yeah, bye, dude.